Curley from County Galway, assisted this afternoon by Martin Murphy and Sean O'Queeve, the two linesmen this afternoon on duty, and straight away it's Meath who go into the attack. Enda McManus trying to make some headway. Tommy Dowd, who of course is the Meath captain. Back to McManus it comes. Going forward on the right-hand flank, Paddy Reynolds, who an awkward ball for any full forward to try and contain, and that was just a little bit too much for Brendan Riley. So first attack then for Tyrone, huge one by Gormley way downfield, touched on there by Brian Gormley. Martin O'Connell is back there minding the house for Meath, linking up with Darren Fay. Next it's Colin Coyle, 33 years of age, most experienced member of this Meath team. Trevor Giles then into no man's land, well, no man from a Meath point of view. This is Chris Lawn. Oh, good block. It was Evan Kelly coming in there with great commitment and good timing. This is Finbar McConnell. One back here by Ronan McGarity from Carrickmore.
What Tyrone are trying to do there is they're trying to isolate Peter Canavan in at full forward on the mid right corner back. And of course, in his first championship year, Mark O'Reilly, they're trying to drag Darren Fay, who has done excellently for Meath at full back, out to the wing. Kieran McBride is doing that. I suppose it's a compliment to Darren Fay insofar as they want to put Peter Canavan on Mark O'Reilly.
And that's the way it's panned out just at the moment. Fairly congested area though, over at the right half forward. Brian Doer, who excelled in the opening half against Down. Now to Jared Cavalin. Cavalin striking, and he puts it over the bar. Well, when they last met in the league, which was back on the 26th of November, he hit all their scores in the first half on that particular occasion. And here he is, hitting the lead point.
Well, it's a brilliant point. Jared Cavalin has had his problems in this championship. He's been noticed as a great kicker of the ball off right and left, but he has done badly in the championship up to now. But that's a fantastic point to start with.
Well, the word from the training camp is that he's been excelling over the last couple of weeks in training. Meanwhile, Meath have a player down on the deck. That's Mark O'Reilly, just away to the left of the picture as they're watching it right now. Playing in his fourth championship match.
Oh, well, there's been a bit of tussling going on between Mark O'Reilly and Peter Canavan off the ball. Colin Coyle back sweeping up for Meath. Takes a fair old belt there. But the attention now goes to Mark O'Reilly, who is injured in an off-the-ball clash with Peter Canavan.
Mark O'Reilly, who's a grandnephew of the legendary Kerry midfielder Paddy Kennedy, who won 4 All-Ireland medals back in the late 30s and into the 40s as well. Brian Gormley fairly copped one there from the elbow of Colm Coyle. That's the original incident that we watched. Conor Martin, who's the Meath goalkeeper. So delays then in the early stage of this All-Ireland semi-final. There's scarcely a space to be found here this afternoon. In there attending is Jack Finn and also, of course, Anne Burton. Just exchanging pleasantries on the field. Meanwhile, they peer on from the sideline here. And that's the marking arrangement. Mark O'Reilly picking up Peter Canavan, Peter the Great as he's known. Colm Coyle kicking. Broken down in here towards Evan Kelly. Got back on his feet quickly. Graham Geraghty can't contain it. Instead, it's Paul Devlin, out as far as Pascal Canavan. And that'll be a free from where the ball lands, as Pascal was fouled on his own 20-metre line. Knocked across here by Jared Cavalin. Peter Canavan attracting 2 Meath players to him. Lovely ball roll low inside towards Brian Gormley. Trying to get away from Martin O'Connell. Angle is tight. Peter Canavan calls for it. They try to locate him. Can't find him, however. It's Martin O'Connell instead. Line ball to Tyrone. It's got to be Jody Gormley from Trillick to hit this one in. Good ball across. Brian Gormley can't contain it, but he's pushed and dragged down, and there's a free into Tyrone. Now, you'll recall in the Ulster final that Peter Canavan shipped a very heavy knock early on in that, and as a result, he opted out of the free taking. Adrian Cush took over, and this suits Adrian Cush from the right-hand side. He hit it with the left boot, so a chance to put 2 between them. And they'll hardly get a better opportunity in this one here. Risk to complement the point earlier on by Gerard Cavlin. So Cush from the free, making it 2 points to no score. And the breeze, we should emphasise, is supporting Tyrone at this phase of the match, but it has changed around quite a bit from time to time.
Yes, it's changing around, Ger. I was out on the pitch and it did seem to be blowing towards the Canal goal. But I would think that if Tyrone were to choose two players that they would want to score first, that have chosen both Cavlin and Cush, who would be down on their confidence a bit, and that would be a great start for the two of them.
Absolutely. Dropped down by Jody Gormley, won back by Gerard Cavlin again. He's starting very impressively indeed. That's Adrian Cush, low inside towards Peter Canavan. A rapid transfer, well, not to the man he intended it to go to. It's Sean McLaughlin instead, scorer of the point that never was in last year's All-Ireland final, and that becoming just the first wide for Tyrone.
Meath are sticking with those marking arrangements in the full back line. I don't think it suits Meath that well. I'm sure Martin O'Connell would prefer to be playing on any of the other two full forwards rather than Brian Gormley, who's very small and fast. At least at the moment anyway, Meath are sticking with the Peter Canavan and Mark O'Reilly.
Great leap in the air, well taken down there by Jimmy McGuinness. Now it's Graham Geraghty, transferred this season into the half-forward line. Enda McManus knocking it forward. Chris Sloan had to be at his very best in timing his jump there, winning the free kick. Caught here by Adrian Cush. There's plenty of support. McLaughlin again. Trevor Giles trying to dispossess him, likewise Colm Coyle. Adrian Cush had it, but stepped out over the sideline. Line ball to Meath. Taken by Coyle. Dropped down by Evan Kelly as far as Brendan Riley. Another one of those transferred into the forward line, and he took too much out of that, and it's going to be a free downfield to Tyrone.
I think Brendan is showing the effects there of kicking several wides in the Leinster final. You know, he had a chance to shoot, he should have gone for it, and then because of a lack of confidence on his part for shooting, overplayed the ball.
Well, from a Meath point of view, it's going to be essential now to get a score on the boards pretty quickly. Finmar McConnell has come to take this free. Normally a man who hits a huge kick out or free. Graham Geraghty claiming this one. Support outside them there in the figure of Enda McManus. Picked up instead here by Ronan McGarity. Transfer to Pascal Canavan, taken on by Adrian Cush. Still they have plenty of support. The support play excellent, but they don't need it, but the shooting from distance is exquisite. A second point for Adrian Cush, playing a leading role this afternoon in this Tyrone attack, and showing that it's not just all about Peter Canavan.
Yes, it seems as if Colm Coyle to an extent has left Adrian Cush go out the field in the hope that maybe picking him up as he comes in, but that's a brilliant point off his left foot. I'd say Colm Coyle was trying to curb the space available to put the ball into Peter Canavan, but after that he'll be forced to follow Cush.
That's Trevor Giles playing centre half back, of course, in the colours of UCD, but right half forward here, that's Barry Callahan. That's the one they've needed, and they put it over the bar. Barry Callahan from Dundee, hitting Meath's first point. A confidence booster, if ever there were one, for the legion of Meath fans who've made the relatively short journey to Cork Park. So 3 points to 1.
Well, that'll help settle Meath down. It was a very good point by Barry Callahan. Faye Devlin has, of course, switched across to mark him, and Paul Devlin has come across to mark Evan Kelly. A great point off his right foot by Barry Callahan.
That Tyrone full back line, very adept at playing in any one of the three positions. Good man markers, each and every one of them. Colm Coyle having a real handful this afternoon there against Adrian Cush. That's picked up instead by Seamus McCallan of Tyrone, released to Ronan McGarity, surrendered to Enda McManus. Now Brendan Riley, well away from his allotted full forward position, going this way and that, but then running into a cul-de-sac, leaving it behind to Gerard Cavlin, who's playing all over the park, but bounced over the head there of Kieran McBride. Runs on towards Peter Canavan, trying to get away from Mark O'Reilly, and that's a great kick under pressure. It's gone over the bar, but he's injured himself in the process, and there will be real concern about Peter Canavan here. 4 points to 1 the position, but at what price? He suffered a dead leg after that early knock that he received in the Ulster final against Down.
Well, there's not much you can do with a man like this, you know, right or left, comes across, kicks a beautiful point. I think John McDermott is coming across, and the two Meath men quite accidentally run into Peter Canavan there. But when a man like that is able to go to the wing, pick a ball up, you can't do much if you're a full back on him.
Yes, it was a really tough challenge there as they came across to try and deny Peter Canavan, and for his troubles, John McDermott has had his name taken. Warm, humid afternoon here at Croke Park, ever the threat of rain, so the forecasters were telling us last night.
I'm a bit surprised that John McDermott been booked there. I didn't see anything malicious in that clash. Maybe I'll be proven to be wrong, but John McDermott comes in. Well, he certainly hits him late. No
there was an
question
elbow
of that
as well.
at all. John probably should have dived in to block.
Brendan MacDonald and Maeve O'Hagan there, tending to the number 14 for Tyrone. Well, it's looking like he's going to be able to continue. Eugene McKenna, of course, is the joint manager along with Art McRory. And they look after team affairs together with Pat McCartan and John Kramer. So the running repairs, they're enjoying their day here at Cork Park. Everybody wants to get into the picture. They can see themselves up on the giant screen. Here's Conor Martin. Takes the most peculiar run up to kick out Adrian Cush. Plenty of support play. Pascal Canavan just ahead of him, taking it back from Canavan. Cush kicking from just outside the 45-metre line. In they go after it. Good goalkeeping. Oh, and there was an attempted block there by Peter Canavan. And unrewarded. This is Trevor Giles. Now Martin O'Connell, vastly experienced player. Tommy Dowd against McCallan. McCallan was trying to fist that one away. That's Paul Devlin there on the ground. Meath's tactics to try and deny them space right from the outset, from the Tyrone full back line onwards. Pascal Canavan just switching it. Colin Coyle read the flight path expertly, trying to go away from Brian Gormley. Now Jimmy McGuinness, known as Boots. Colin Coyle raiding through the centre. Enterprising ball there, which is cut out by Faye Devlin. On to Jared Cavlin. Almost like a Mayo number 11 from last week, whom you remember, of course. McGuinness so tapped away there by Pascal Canavan. Free is taken quickly by Paddy Reynolds. Onto it comes Evan Kelly. And a low shot, easy one for Finbar McConnell to handle. Out as far as Brian Doore. UCD student down towards Dinky McBride, been marked by Darren Fay. McBride on the ground, and the referee shaping like he'd throw the ball in. Just a quick check on the man who made his championship debut against Cavan in last year's Ulster final. So Tyrone's two front men have been in the wars early on, both Canavan and Kieran McBride.
Yes, and Tyrone are creating a huge amount of space right in front of their full forward line for McBride and Peter Canavan. Both Jared Cavlin and Adrian Cush are playing way out the field and leaving an amount of space, and Tyrone are playing it differently than last year, where they used to have a short pass the ball, but they are kicking a lot of ball into that space now, and their full forward line are getting out first. At the other end, the mid full forward line don't seem to be able to win the possession easily, and when they do, they're not willing to shoot on side.
McBride is certainly in distress. The referee has had his attention called by one of his umpires, and the referee having a word with Peter Canavan and calling across Mark O'Reilly as well. So the names being taken. Might have referred back to an earlier incident there, not quite finished, and the referee will want to resolve it here.
I see the referee asking Peter his name. I suppose not too many people in the country who don't know his name at this stage. And Kieran McBride gets down on this, and Martin O'Connell comes across him, and it's obvious, catches him within his knee, obviously on the side of the face, and a little bit of running repair is needed there, a bit of a cut over the eye, I think.
Bit like Tommy Dowd in the Leinster final. All seemed a bit accidental, but Meath had the possession. Faye Devlin trying to dispossess Barry O'Callaghan. And again, some pushing and shoving. And the referee in no doubt about it, that's going to be a free into Meath. So Kieran McBride then bandaged up after all of that. Dave O'Hagan looking after him together with the team doctor. So Trevor Giles has this free in. Should suit a right-footed kicker. Light breeze into his face. Making little of the angle and topping it over the bar. So first free, first point for Trevor Giles as they try and eat into the Tyrone lead, and it's now 4 points to 2.
Good start for Trevor Giles too. The first 2 or 3 frees in the Leinster final were from bad angles and he missed them. That would be a great boost to him to get one from an awkward angle.
Huge kick out from the 20-metre line. Jody Gormley trying to break it down towards Ronan McGarity. Quickly surrounded there by Meath players. A little bit of over-anxiety on their part, and Tyrone get the free kick, and there was no way that the Meath man was back the requisite distance. Fair in question, Graham Geraghty. So, Kieran McBride seems to be okay once again. Bruised and battered somewhat. It's going to be Adrian Cush who will hit this one. Again, significantly, he's taking over the frees from Peter Canavan. I was told beforehand Peter would make his mind up as to whether he felt he could take them or not today. But this suits Cush in any case. But it drops to the right. Second wide for Tyrone.
It's a rather big-looking bandage, and Kieran McBride, one would think that at first glance anyway that it must affect his vision a little. Seems to be coming down a good bit.
Fisted on there by Colm Coyle. Having to adjust his footing, then there was some dragging down. Meath get the free. Coyle is the taker. Brendan Riley chasing out here with Chris Lawn. Riley looking around to sum up his options. Tommy Dowd, little injection of pace ahead into the attack there. Right across the face of the goal. Useful opening here. Callaghan striking it with the fists and putting it over the bar. Barry Callaghan's second point. So now the gap closes down, and there's just a point between the teams. Good comeback by the Meath men.
A brilliant pass here by Tommy Dowd across. The sort of ball that every forward likes to get, coming in and facing the goals with it. And Barry Callaghan takes the right option. There wasn't a goal on. There's too many Tyrone players back. The right option fisted over from close range. But Brendan Riley's getting a lot of low ball there in front of, or getting high ball coming in, and is able to win it in front of the Tyrone Chris Lawn. So it's a good sign for Meath.
McGuinness spreading it wide again towards Barry Callaghan, who's causing problems for Faye Devlin, who's not getting tight enough on him. There's a good move inside there, Graham Geraghty. Brendan Riley having to try and keep this ball in play together with Tommy Dowd. They do so successfully. Dowd was an option. Riley going for the point to try and level up the match. That's a great kick in there. Well, that will do the confidence an awful lot of good. From St. Peter's in Dunboyne, Brendan Riley's first point has made it 4 points apiece. Good combined play by the forwards here after that booming shot by Graham Geraghty came back down and was well retrieved here.
Yes, well, Meath aren't too worried about putting the ball in low or anything like that. They're just kicking it in and leaving it up to the fellas inside to do it. Again, Brendan Riley out in front. This time decides he's going to take on the task of shooting, which he was a bit reluctant to do earlier. That'll give him a great confidence.
So now the questions are being asked of the Ulster champions. Sean McLaughlin fouled. But it's the Meath tactics this afternoon to get in there, tight, tenacious, disciplined stuff. And there's Sean Boylan there with his selectors, who of course are Frank Foley and Eamon O'Brien from Walterstown. And that's McLaughlin.
Well, neither of these sides are too big, and Meath probably have whatever advantage there is in physique, and they're trying to make it count by getting stuck into every tackle. In that case, Sean McLaughlin obviously fouled.
Cabellon taking the free to McBride, followed by Fay the whole time. This is Sean McLaughlin. Bad pass outside, comes to Colm Coyle instead. Terrific campaigner down the years in a variety of different roles for Meath. This is Evan Kelly keeping it on the ground. Tommy Dowd making a race ahead. Dowd trying to get there ahead of McCallum, who did really well to get a touch on it. Now he's supported by Chris Law. In came Evan Kelly, and it ends up going out, and harmlessly out of that. But just for a second there, Tommy Dowd almost at the end of a great pass, and McCallum just got a touch on it. Kick out to Tyrone. So 21 minutes gone, 4 points each. Tight, tough match. Place in the All-Ireland final at stake. Going right this time is McConnell. Graham Geraghty comes to claim. Lovely athleticism. Now can he finish and give his side the lead here? It runs on towards McGuinness, and in the end it's Evan Kelly who's denied by Finbar McConnell, who spread himself very bravely indeed. But that was a glorious chance for Meath. They had one or two players, particular Graham Geraghty, who might have pointed, and instead it's all tied up still. Brian Gormley now at the other end for Tyrone, knocked ahead. Martin O'Connell left exposed there. Pascal Canavan racing right on the end line. It was 2 against 1 at one stage there, and Martin O'Connell ends up tidying it out over the sideline. But this save a little while ago was terrific.
A great chance of a goal. Brendan Riley messes the ball up. Jimmy McGuinness does very well, but Evan Kelly's too close to Finbar McConnell, and he's such a big man that when he spreads himself, it's almost impossible to get it by him at that tight an angle. Evan probably would be better to have punched it over the bar, because Finbar McConnell is almost unbeatable unless you're about 10-12 metres out.
Taken quickly. Cabellon again kicking, and same result as before. The unmistakable style of Gerard Cabellon from Dungannon, his second point of the match. And Canavan, probably the best in the world, set it up for him to make it 5 points to 4.
I see Martin O'Connell shouting at Enda McGuinness to get a bit tighter to him, because Gerard Cabellon now is beginning to come more and more into this game, apart from kicking good points, but he's prompting from the midfield area as well.
Great catch in the centre of the field there, taken by John McDermott onto his midfield partner Jimmy McGuinness. Punched away there by Paul Devlin. Gerard Cabellon, he's playing so deep. But like, as I said earlier, Colin McMenamin from Mayo last week. And Enda McManus has not gone to follow him. That's going to be a free to Tyrone. And Peter Canavan once again coming out to take it. Wisely, it's Cush who takes them from the right-hand side with the left boot, and Canavan on the left-hand side kicking with the right. And that's kicked to the left. 3 wides for Tyrone. Not playing with the kind of confidence and fluency that we know of old. But just in a minute or a second even, he can turn a match, as he's done so often in this year's championship. One back here again by Brian Doore. Good at racing at defences. Can he finish here? Well, it was Martin O'Connell who was in there challenging him, making life awkward, and Brian Doore failed to hit the target. He was kicking points with his right and with his left in this year's Ulster final. Conor Martin to kick this one out, now based back here in Dublin following his spell in international financing in London. Now he's in the financial world of Dublin. That's McDermott. Nicely back to Martin O'Connell. Paddy Reynolds was, I think, almost expecting that block to come in. Here's Dinky McBride, challenged over there by Darren Fay. And Peter Canavan having words with the referee. It's Meath's ball. Touchdown by Ronan McGarity. Tommy Dowd has it. Held by Seamus McCallum. Free awarded. Footballer of the Year at Meath, of course, in 1995, hoping to lead his side into this year's All-Ireland final. Synchronised diving over there.
That's a waste of possession on Meath's part, because they have a bit of a height advantage in the full forward line. Those sort of balls should be just pumped in there and see what happens. Things have been working quite well up to now with it, so they should have just kept it up.
Chris Lawn belts it downfield, broken down by Jody Gormley. Brian Doer wins the free. Towards Kieran McBride. Judged the bounce superbly this time. Now trying to advance against Darren Fay. Back inside, he slips it to Cush. Nice little chip, good point. And Adrian Cush has 3 points in this match. And the fans celebrate up on Hill 16, which is Tyrone's ground this afternoon. Indeed, they have far more than just the hill. Huge support here from all parts of Ulster, but in particular from Tyrone. McGuinness has it back in the centre of the field for Meath. Having drawn level at 4 points each, they now found themselves 2 points adrift. And they did waste a number of good possessions there, in particular the one where Finbar McConnell produced the save. Cavalon to kick. Huge deep one inside there. Fed back towards Jody Gormley. And he really misdirected that one after Pascal Canavan had spooned it up for him. So the wides mount up from a Tyrone perspective, 5 so far.
Meath are doing well on their own kicks out in the middle of the field. Both John McDermott and Jimmy McGuinness have the beaten in the air with Jody Gormley and Pascal Canavan.
Conor Martin's kick out is fetched superbly by John McDermott, giving the leadership in midfield. I realised he was going to be blocked, and was in any case by Adrian Cush. We saw some superb blocking in the minor match before all this. That's Barry Callahan. Brendan Riley given the little bit of support. Nice ball inside. Oh, it's buried by Graham Geraghty. Great pass by Trevor Giles. Approaching 28 minutes gone in the first half. And the converted wing-back has come forward to strike goal number 1. Meath go in front for the first time in the match. There was real expertise in this.
Well, that goal is coming for a while, because the Meath full forward line had the beaten of the counterparts. And Graham Geraghty left inside, a great pass inside from Trevor Giles after initial brilliant pass from Barry Callahan. Brilliant ball across there. And Brendan Riley to Trevor Giles to Graham Geraghty, the right man at the end of the move, because he's absolutely lethal when he gets it at that sort of range. A great shot into the corner of the net, and it has to be a great shot to beat Finbar McConnell.
Well, I remember a great goal that he scored against Dublin in last year's Leinster final, which wasn't enough, of course. And the concern now is about Seamus McCallum, as the referee has a word with him for something that went on a little while ago. So Finbar McConnell beaten. Man made 2 top-class saves in the Ulster final. Among the tallest goalkeepers, of course, in the game. So Jody Gormley is being attended to. It takes a fair old shot, as you say, Colm, to beat Finbar McConnell, but that was absolutely inch perfect right into the corner. And in spite of his 6'4.5" frame, there was nowhere he was within a smell of that.
Yeah, and the advantage was that he was far enough out as well. When Finbar McConnell gets close to the kicker, he spreads himself and blocks the goal. So in actual fact, Graham Geraghty being 14 or 15 metres out was a help in there, and he was able to rifle it past him before McConnell could get any farther out.
Long way to go, but the favourites trail. Here's McGuinness. Ball was intended for Tommy Dowd, wasn't a good one. Comes to Seamus McCallum instead. Ruggedly built centre half back, transferred to the free man all this time in the centre of the field, is Jared Cavalon. This time they get a block on him. Comes back to Adrian Cush. Quick look up to see just what's on. And McManus striving to get tighter to him. Runs on to Jody Gormley. Then to Pascal Canavan. Nice ball outside towards Ronan McGarrity, transferred back towards the older of the Canavan boys. And Pascal Canavan has this one sailing over the bar. Wonderful score. Level for the second time in this match, thanks to the kicking skills of Pascal Canavan. And he was involved in that move a couple of times, always making himself available. And Tyrone show us they can take some great scores from distance.
And Meath had a lot of players behind the ball there, a lot of players getting in tackles, but again, not much you can do when you have a player like Pascal Canavan who can kick points from 50 metres.
It's with Sean McLaughlin. Low into the space, Darren Fay saying, out of the way, this is mine. Hand passing it towards Dewey McGuinness. Transferred back there towards Trevor Giles. Barry Callahan was the intended recipient, but instead it's Paul Devlin, or rather Fay Devlin. Paul indeed and Fay had terrific matches in the Ulster campaign for Tyrone this season. Peter Canavan can't take it, instead it is young Mark O'Reilly, one of the 5 under-21s, with a date with Cavan coming up very shortly in the replay of the under-21 championship. Bad ball across the field comes to Jared Cablin, and they really haven't put anybody on him.
Yes, Enda McManus would need to get much tighter, way away from him at the moment.
Dewar just stands his ground there against Martin O'Connell. Transferred outside, Jody Gormley there waiting for it. Meath retreating, but retreating a bit too much at times, not getting tight on the man with the ball, and it's Peter Canavan who hangs it over the bar for his second point of the match. What do we say about him being a little under colour this afternoon? Well, in just a twinkle of an eye, back he comes to make it 8 points to 1-4.
Well, I thought Peter Canavan was human there for a while, because he let a ball hop across his head and he kicked the ball wide, but I'm afraid I'm any man that can walk on water. Kicking a point from that free shot is relatively easy.
So the lead has changed hands on 3 occasions so far. Meanwhile, there's an injured player. Is that Brian Dewar? Seems like the dark hair of the number 10. It seems to be Brian Dewar.
Yes, Brian Dewar was heavily involved in the lead up to that move, won the ball and came across before supplying one of the passes that led to the score. But both sides are getting a lot of room in the middle of the field. There seems to be a lot of space available to men out the field.
Our reporter on the sideline this afternoon is Marty Morrissey. Have you got some news for us, Marty? He's on a productivity deal, and we haven't heard from him. He hasn't obviously signed the deal. Right, play continues. Fisted on there by Jimmy McGuinness. Martin O'Connell has it. Free driven through the centre of the field. Just about 2 minutes to go to half-time, and once again it's the goal scorer sailing in there. Devastating style from Graham Geraghty, and that's a goal and a point now for the Centralstown player. Well, he emerged here as a terrific centre half back some time ago. Sean Boylan appreciated the talents this young player has. Wonderfully gifted player. So level once again, level for the 3rd time.
Well,
sorry, Colm, I think Marty is on the sideline now.
Yes, indeed, Chair. Well, just to tell you that Brian Dewar is getting his head heavily bandaged, just like Kieran McBride. The first aid people have told me that Kieran McBride's injury requires stitches, but they won't do it until after the game. And I think the same is true of Brian Dewar.
Thank you, Marty. So problems then for the Tyrone forward line, with 2 of their starting 6 players in the wars at this early stage. Meanwhile, it's Graham Geraghty for Meath. Almost hit that one too far ahead of Ronan McGarrity, who came back with a trip in any case, and for his troubles he's going to have his name taken.
And Ronan McGarrity's been absolutely destroyed by Graham Geraghty at the moment. He hasn't got anything like the pace that's needed to curb Geraghty, and if Graham could get another few balls in his hand and head towards the goals, he's causing all sorts of problems for Tyrone.
This really is anybody's match. Brendan Riley trying to take it down. Very good play by Chris Lohan. That's held on there by Sean McLaughlin. Just inside the last half minute of normal time as Jimmy McGuinness swings down his opponent, and the notebook's out once again. So now a total of 5 players have had their names taken, 3 from Meath, 2 from Tyrone. McGuinness the latest. Starred on a fine under-21 team a few years ago that won the All-Ireland series. more or less made his progression straight into the senior team after that. This is where he made that challenge. It was high, it was awkward.
It's a bad tackle by Jimmy McGuinness, who's having a very, very good game in the middle of the field for Meath. Himself and John McDermott are winning most of the high ball.
So Sean McLaughlin, the player who's had the attention. And just as a precaution here, Fergal Logan is being prepared. But that's just a precaution. Most of the top teams do that instantly once a player goes down injured. This is Seamus McCallum. Strongly built centre half back, loses it, but there's support there. Jody Gormley. Sides all tied up here late in this first half in injury time. Enda McManus. Jared Camlin, the one who's challenging. He's all over the park, Camlin. O'Connell. 3 Tyrone players in there to challenge, to put him off his stride somewhat. And Sean O'Queeve, the linesman, signalling that that's going to be a sideline ball once it comes back into play.
Martin kicks it up onto the roof of the Hogan stand. I think the last man to do that was Cuchulainn, so...
Well, he had a ticket at least. It's Camlin who's going to hit it. Useful shot, drops over delightfully. 3 points for Jared Camlin from play and from the sideline there. He's deadly accurate and really full of confidence this afternoon. Supremely talented. So Tyrone have a very slight lead then as we head towards the interval break. Referee playing time added on for injuries. Tyrone with 15 scoring chances, they've made 9. Meath with just 8 scoring chances, but they've made 6. McGuinness holds on. Players peeling away right and left. Tyrone trying to get tight, and foul indeed. The foul by Pascal Canavan, the free by Paddy Reynolds, son of Pat, of course, former All-Star and former selector. Here's Tommy Dowd, looking indestructible. Back it goes there towards Barry Callahan. Dragged back there by Jody Gormley. Free to Meath, late chance for Trevor Giles perhaps to put the sides level as they head towards the dressing rooms for the half-time cup of tea. Composing himself now with this, with an important kick.
Yes, and an easy free, I think, Jared, there. Barry Callahan was under a lot of pressure, but not too often you see a referee giving a free in a situation like that. Gives Trevor Giles a fairly easy chance of sending Meath in on level terms.
He's caught it well. Level for the 4th time. Trevor Giles with 2 frees, 2 points. And he, the player who set up the goal for Graham Geraghty with the final telling pass.
Meath will be looking at the situation in the half-back line with Jared Camlin in particular. Probably at half-time will be telling Enda McManus not to bother worrying about the space he's leaving behind him, but just pick up Camlin.
Right now, Camlin is way at right. Here he is, right half forward, and there's Enda McManus over there, but he's left him behind again. Over towards the bandaged wonder, Huron known as Dinky McBride. Great committed play here from both teams. This is Trevor Giles taking the shoulder from Adrian Kosh. Adrian, who's been commuting from London for training each week. That's Colm Coyle, pursued by Sean McLaughlin. Dispossessed is Pascal Canavan, who has it 65 metres out from the Meath goal. The bump into the back then by John McDermott, free to Tyrone. Again, they knock it into space, and Conor Martin fancying his chances here. Fast off the blocks, cautious and careful as well. Back onto their seats they'll go again. That was right into the corner there near the Nally stand. So 4 minutes of injury time has gone. And Pascal Canavan seems to be or Peter Canavan seems to be limping a little bit. Just noticed it there on the last, very definitely limping as he goes after this one. Colm Coyle knocks it out. That's the end of the first half. As I say, Peter Canavan certainly has shipped a knock and is limping quite noticeably. Just 1 goal in the first half. That was decisive. It was by Graham Geraghty, a wonderful finish past Finbar McConnell. And really, this game is all to play for in the next 35 minutes as Graham Geraghty there and Martin O'Connell talk about it going off at half-time. But the half-time position here in the second of the All-Ireland football semi-finals, it's 1-6 to 9 points.
It's tough, it's competitive, it's all square at half-time in this All-Ireland semi-final. Marty Morrissey has some news.
Yes, indeed, Michael. James Riley, the Assistant County Secretary, just joins me here. A good performance by Meath overall.
Yes, Marty, a bit slow to start off. We gave them, I think, a 2-point head start, but we've come back well. A good goal from Graham, and we're back in the game, and it's level, so there's 35 minutes and all to play for.
What's the mood of Sean Boylan and the team management at the moment? Are they happy, do you think?
I think they'll be quite happy. There's a fair breeze out there today, and I think we have probably been playing against it in the first half, so the breeze won't win the match, though. It's going to take 35 minutes of hard work. Tyrone are playing very well as well, so it's going to be a hard work for the next 35 minutes.
James Riley, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Marty.
Well, those who are involved with the match programmes here for the big game today, maybe are anticipating something. One of the captions here on the programme says, Meath versus Mayo. It might be Meath versus Mayo. That'll be another day, though. They have a lot of work to do yet. We'll talk about that first half right after this commercial break. They've seen in that first half, and of course people watching this match far afield as well. We say good afternoon to, or good morning I suppose it is, to Sean McCrory and Barry Callahan, who are watching this in Toronto in Canada. Sean McCrory in fact is a brother of the Tyrone co-manager Art McCrory. I wonder, Sean, what you make of it all so far. Now what you are watching down on the pitch at the moment is the usual exhibition of skills by young national school children from all over the country. It's an occasion that obviously is very big for them. It's one that they've been looking forward to for weeks and weeks. And indeed there was one young girl who was to have been playing here today who I'm sure was looking forward to it as well, Niamh Britton from Donegal. But tragically a couple of weeks ago, Niamh's parents, Mary and Donal, were killed in a car accident. Now she was injured in that accident herself, and she is still recovering from her injuries, although I gather that she is actually at the match here today. And we extend our deepest sympathies to the Britton family on their tragic loss. I'm sure that Martin McHugh will join with me in those sympathies as well. As we look back on that first half of football, it was a tough, competitive game of football, Martin.
Yeah, very enjoyable first half, Michael. I think everybody at home watching, everybody here have enjoyed it. It's been a good match. The art of Gaelic football that people were worried was gone. Feeding was right back there today. The two Meath midfielders, John McDermott and John McGuinness, give an exhibition, especially McDermott. I think Tyrone are a bit of bother in their full back line. I think they've switched the two full backs, Paul Devlin and Faye Devlin, before the match. And I think Faye is happy on the left side. And Meath caught them out a couple of times. And so we've seen what Meath are good at, and I would know when the manager and what Meath are good at. They draw you all to one side of the field. They're very good at putting the ball across. Colin would probably know a bit more about that than me. But they're very good. And they caught out Tyrone on a couple of occasions at getting Graham Gardy in behind the defence. And they've created two good chances. But it's been a very enjoyable first half.
Tony Davis, normally Tyrone try and bypass midfield a little bit because they're not the biggest in the world in that sector. Meath obviously are very happy to just keep pumping that high ball in there to McGuinness and McDermott.
Yes, I suppose, Michael, probably you could call it traditional kick out or any traditional high ball into the middle of the field. Jimmy McGuinness and John McDermott won absolutely every ball going into the middle of the field. And one thing that surprised me, Tyrone didn't win as much breaks around the middle of the field as I thought they would have. Finbar McConnell normally sets the ball out to the wings, and up there Trevor Giles and Graham Garrity are winning a lot of the balls as well. One weakness I would see in the Meath team, even though they're playing quite well, I thought that their two wing backs, Paddy Reynolds and Colm Coyle, are getting a bit of a roasting there, especially Colm Coyle. Colm is trying to come back and cover for the full back, but what he's doing, he's leaving Adrian Cush on his own, and he's taking advantage of it. He should really play his own man, either do one or the other, don't be caught in no man's land. He's leaving his man loose and he's not supporting back, with the result that Adrian Cush is getting good few scores.
Tony, generally speaking, the Tyrone forwards are looking much sharper than Meath, and nonetheless, when the goal came, it came on the Meath side, and a good move this.
Yes, Meath worked very, very hard for it, and here, as you can see, the Meath full forward line are running ragged, running the Tyrone full back line very well. And this is great support play. The first time ball into Graham Garrity and took a score very, very well. But the Meath full forward line are really coming out first and laying it off as they should. And I think the Tyrone full back line are being shown up today a little bit.
Well, Finbar McConnell is entitled to wonder where his defence went on that occasion, as we take another little look at it from our goal camera angle.
Yes, Finbar is, he's a very big man and he's a good keeper and he stops very well. We can't see much from that really, but he still spreads himself very well, as you can see there. But before that he made a good save, but he was let down by his full back line really, not himself. He could have nothing about it.
Martin, we can overdo it at times talking about Peter Canavan, but nonetheless he is the star of this Tyrone forward division. We're going to have a look at one of his scores. As we do so, a little bit of concern about the fact that he looked to be limping a little bit towards the end of that half.
Yeah, he definitely hasn't been himself the first half. But fair play to Jared Gavlin, he's taking a lot of pressure off him, and he's actually the best Tyrone forward. And we see Peter coming out onto the ball he gets. The minute he gets the ball in his hands, he's very, very hard to stop. He scored 2 points the first half. That's the first one he took with his left foot. He scored another great point from part out with his right foot. But Meath are containing them well. well. But as Tony has said, maybe that they're trying to look after him too much, and the half back line is suffering because of that. But I think that Tyrone done well after giving away the goal. They came right back and got a couple of points, and it's making some a good second half. And I think Meath have really put it up to them. And the Meath keeper is aiming all his kickouts at McGuinness and McDermott in the middle of the field, and they're physically too strong. The Tyrone men can't get up to break the ball, and that's where they're clean catching. So it's going to be tough on them in the second half, because they're going to be losing a lot of ball around the middle of the field. So the forwards is going to take advantage of all the chances they get. I think the Meath full forward line is giving them bother.
Yeah, well, Tony, we've just had a look at the goal that Meath scored. In fact, they could have had a second goal in that first half as well, except for on this occasion a good save by Finbar McConnell.
Yes, Finbar McConnell has done very well for them all through the year, and here we see it again. Good support play there by midfield, and really he should have stuck that away, but he spread himself very well again in a great save. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. He's about 6'4". His kickouts are absolutely superb as well. He's probably one of the best goalies around at the moment, you know. He's superb. Gives his backline great confidence as well.
Tony, one thing that we must mention at this stage is that Meath will come out now in the second half all square, and they'll be happy enough with that, and with the wind behind them now, and it is quite fresh actually here at the moment.
Yes, they will, and in fairness to Meath before the game, not too many people would. I think they would be happy with this position at half time, but it's really going to ask questions of Tyrone. I don't think Tyrone were mentally prepared at half time to think they were level. I'm sure they think they would be ahead, you know. So it's really going to ask questions of Tyrone, and we know Meath down the years, they are not going to die. They're going to keep plugging away. They're going to make it hard for Tyrone, and if Tyrone are going to win it, they're going to deserve it.
Martin, I met a couple of Tyrone supporters coming in before the match today, and they said you'll be talking tonight about Jared Kaplan. He's going to come into his own today, and certainly he's played well in the first half.
He's been their best forward the first half, and he's taken Enda McManus right wide in the pitch, and he's taken a lot of bother for him. And both Brian Dewar and Kieran McBride has probably got stitches in half time, so they mightn't be as effective the second half. So they're going to need a big game from the other four forwards. Brian Gormley really hasn't got into the match yet, and Peter Cannon is definitely not himself. So the second half, it's going to be important for them to get one more ball around the middle field. They'll probably talk at half time about Brecken getting the ball broken away of the two big men, and stopping Meath wanting so much possession in that area.
Martin, I'm just going to interrupt you there for a second, because I gather that Marty Morrissey has somebody for us to talk to.
Thank you, Michael. Pat McCartan, one of the Tyrone selectors. Any changes at half time?
2 changes at half time. Fergal Logan is on for Ronan McGarrity, and
Paul Donnelly, I think.
Stephen Lawn is on for Brian Gormley in the corner. 2 direct switches.
Obviously, Pat, you felt under pressure.
We're under a wee bit of pressure. They're physically strong, but we hope to be able to handle them in the second half.
Yeah, second half certainly underway, as you can see, with those 2 changes having been made, and it's going to be really fascinating to see just what happens. 35 minutes to go then. Fergal Logan back there into the action straight away. Now Graham Geraghty. Useful looking shot, and Brendan Riley putting over his second point from the pass from Graham Geraghty in front of an attendance of 59,272. So a fine start then to the second half by the Royal County. Some great support play, a match which has been seen this all over the world today. And among the attendants watching in Toronto and Canada, I've been asked to mention Sean McGrory and Barry Cahalane. Hope they're enjoying it. Jared Kaplan sees this one fetched instead by Pascal Canavan. His brother Peter still very noticeably limping. Here he is. He's in real distress, I think. Here comes Colm Coyle. Probing ball inside, intended for Barry Callahan, picked up instead there by Faye Devlin. Now Seamus McCallum. Peter Canavan. Next it's Fergal Logan. Played in last year's All-Ireland final against Dublin, of course. On to Adrian Cush. Such a good carrier of the ball, able to penetrate defences, win the free kick right on the 45-metre line. Art McRory there, joint manager along with Eugene McKenna, trying to set up a meeting with Mayo in this year's All-Ireland final. Shades of the 1989 All-Ireland Semi-Final, that. Jared Kaplan taking over the free-taking duties. He was superb in Navan on a wretched afternoon right at the end of November when the sides last met, that in the National League. The jeering coming from the Meath fans up at the canal end. Cablan kicking. Oh, and that's fisted in there by Dinky McBride. Has a second chance perhaps. Good block down. And the McManus in there. Good support play. That was so close. And that was picked up off the ground, and it's going to be a free out. Player on the ground, still in trouble, is Kieran McBride. Well, that was really close. Worth taking a look at again, no doubt about it.
A big let off from Meath there, and seemed to be John McDermott didn't go for the ball, and Conor Martin come late. Dinky McBride gets in between the two of them, and you know, Meath are lucky to get away there without conceding a goal.
This from a better angle, I think, from Jared Cablan's floated free right in there to the small rectangle. On came Cablan onto it, onto the crossbar.
Yes, it looks as if Conor Martin had shouted at John McDermott to leave it. McBride got in between the two of them then.
It really is a fascinating match, this one. Conor Martin to kick this free. Oh, brilliant fetch again by John McDermott. As Martin McHugh was saying, an exhibition of fetching around the centre of the field. On towards Graham Geraghty. Dangerous situation here. And out comes Finbar McConnell. Takes the shoulder. And away come Tyrone once again. Seamus McGowan. Sean McLaughlin wanting it, or rather it's Chris Lawn.
Tyrone have switched their half-back line, but they're in just as much trouble in the full-back line. Every long ball that goes in, Meath seem to have the beating of them.
Tyrone, the overwhelming favourites to win this match and to go on to take the title. That's what most of the experts have been telling us during the past week. Meath had other ideas, but just a point in it. Brian Doer, a repair job having been done at half-time. On towards Stephen Lawn, twin brother of Chris, the full-back, of course. So free kick. Darren Fay, by the way, is now marking Peter Canavan. Adrian Cush, the concerned look on his face as Brian Doer is in there to try and cause a little bit of consternation. The linesman has his flag raised. Linesman here is Martin Murphy from Mayo. It possibly is that the ball has been moved forward a yard or so. Or has something happened off the ball that the linesman noticed?
I think he's pointing out that Brian Dooher and Paddy Reynolds have been getting stuck into each other off the ball.
So first of all, it's Paddy Reynolds who has the name taken. Yes, we can see it as well. So the booking is for the Meath number 7. 6 names taken in all. Now the linesman saying to Adrian Cush, back you get about a metre. Good sharing of responsibilities between referee and linesman. Cush has been 1 from 2 for his frees so far. Inside the 45-metre line. Little breeze to contend with. But he drops it to the right. And harmlessly whistling past the right-hand post of Conor Martin. The cheer that greeted Tyrone when they came back out for the second half by fans who really absolutely love their football and are willing this team to make amends for last year. But first there is the very awkward step of getting by Meath, who lead by a point. Again, a huge leap in the air by John McDermott, but dropped it as he was coming down. Jumped a little bit prematurely. Brian Doer through the heart of the Meath defence, comes back out, however. Graham Geraghty's back there, back on familiar territory, back around the half-back line. It's fisted out there by Paul Devlin. Picked up here by Sean McLaughlin. And that's going to be a free downfield. Trevor Giles wants it quickly. Evan Kelly pushing ahead. Colm Coyle going short to Trevor Giles, who across the field only as far as Brian Doer. Tyrone building, Jared Cablan, he's been magnificent. Out here towards Stephen Lawn, ambitiously going for it, but it's going away left. Second wide of the second half and a 7th in all for Tyrone. Played in last year's semi-final, Stephen Lawn. Seem to remember he was replaced in that particular game against Galway. So it's Lawn who is right quarter forward, Campbell in full forward, that's Peter Canavan rather, and of course Dinky McBride on the left. This is Jared Campbell. In towards McBride. Awkward one for him to take. Martin O'Connell. Pursued the whole time by Stephen Lawn, but unfairly so. And O'Connell then decided just to slow it down a little bit, kick it himself from the hands to Paddy Reynolds. Trevor Giles gets there well ahead of Sean McLaughlin, holding up the point of the attack. Chris Lawn trying to get a telling challenge. Good ball, slipped inside magnificently to Graham Geraghty. Here he comes through again, and this time wisely fisting it over the bar. Great play between Geraghty and Trevor Giles, and that's now a goal and 2 points for the Meath, number 12. How delighted she looks. He's having a wonderful game. He's made it 1-8 to 9 points, 2 between them.
Well, great play by Trevor Giles holding a hook, but a strange decision on Tyrone's part, putting Fergal Logan on him, who wouldn't be noticed for pace. And again, Geraghty getting in a chance of a goal, but he takes his point.
Back with the action, a crossover there. It's 3 Meath men against 1 from Tyrone. That's Adrian Cush, who was fouled up towards Kieran McBride. And there was a boot going in there from Colm Coyle. McBride playing in his 8th championship match. And this time Peter Canavan is on the ground. Didn't see what happened, it was off the ball. Conor Martin was out there quickly, and the referee Mick Curley saying back on the goal line, that's where you belong. The referee hasn't checked with his linesmen or his umpires rather to see if they saw what happened. Anxious faces looking on. Sideline balls taken to Paul Devlin. The high kick from a huge distance out, and they're waving it over the bar, but there, it's officially a point. Yes, it is. And once again, it's Jared Campbell, his 4th point. He's having a wonderful match, the number 11. And certainly one umpire, the one on the left-hand side, was very, very decisive about that and indicated to the other man that the white flag should be raised.
Brilliant point again by Jared Campbell. Again, Enda McManus just has to get very, very tight on him.
So it has taken Tyrone 10 minutes to get their first point of the second half. Paddy Reynolds slipping through the cover here. Playing in the same position that his father played in the 1967 All-Ireland final against Cork. Devlin. Pressure really is on Tyrone here to deliver, having won a magnificent Ulster Championship. Jared Campbell is down injured.
Meath are hunting in packs. Every Tyrone player that gets the ball, there seems to be half a dozen Meath men around them, and they're finding it difficult to get away with the ball as a result.
2 from 2 for Trevor Giles, and he's kicked it to the left, so it's 2 from 3. Interesting decision there by the referee. Jared Campbell was down on the ground injured, and the referee, I suppose, could have opted to hold it and delay the free kick to attend to the injured Jared Campbell. And that would have added to the pressure on Trevor Giles, who missed in any case. So Jared Campbell is attended to once again there by Brendan MacDonald and by Maeve O'Hagan. Young and old enjoying this contest. Nearly 60,000 people have paid in. It's a fully committed, wonderful championship tie. Just a point separating the sides. Meath leading. Long way to go as Sean McLaughlin picks himself off the ground, supported here by Pascal Canavan. Outside towards Fergal Logan. Back into the centre it goes, stopped there by Jimmy McGuinness. Trying to stonewall Tyrone seems to be the Meath tactic here. But again, some nice classy play by Adrian Cush on his favoured left boot. He hits it, but he should have put it over, but didn't. It's an 8th wide for Tyrone.
Yes, all the Meath backs left Adrian Cush to each other there, gave him a great chance coming through. But Tyrone are having a lot of trouble just getting that ball in fast. They really need Peter Canavan now. Things haven't been going well for him. He's obviously injured, but if he could come to life, I suppose it could give Tyrone a chance. But Meath are playing very well at the moment.
This is taken by Jody Gormley. Stephen Lawn. Back it goes again to Brian Doer. Hasn't scored so far. Here's a chance inside for Gormley. Still progressing. Look at the number of Meath players back, and then the pass was gifted to Martin O'Connell. O'Connell poised and showing poise. Out it comes. Belted away there by Darren Fay. Comes towards Fergal Logan. Back in again to Adrian Cush. Crossing the 45-metre line. Terrible ball from Cush. Enda McManus has the chance to relieve the pressure. Downfield it goes towards Barry Callan, but it's held onto there by Chris Lawn. It really is a wholehearted contest. The ball forward towards Evan Kelly. He has Paul Devlin for company. Can he get by? He can, he kicks, and he's put in wide. Bad misses at either end. Kelly yet to score.
There's a brilliant chance there for Meath. Again, good work to dispossess Chris Lawn. Evan Kelly, of course, will be much better coming in off the other side with his left foot rather than trying to kick with his right, which would be his weaker side.
McGuinness went up for it, didn't take it, but Graham Geraghty has. Challenged by Fergal Logan. Good ball to split the defence. McGuinness lobbed across towards Tommy Dowd, looking for his first point in this match. And he was off balance and was challenged very well indeed by Chris Lawn. Well, whatever about losing the All-Ireland final, somebody was saying to me recently, at least you have the pleasure of playing in that final, but to lose at the semi-final stage can be so awful. So Tyrone preparing one of their substitutes. Meanwhile, it's Paul Devlin. On to Pascal Canavan. Tyrone trailing by a point. They come looking for the equaliser. Stephen Lawn, good catch, nicely transferred to Kieran McBride. Looking for the score here, and he's put it wide again. Oh dear.
There was men available outside too. The rest of the Tyrone forwards aren't too happy with him going for a shot from that bad angle.
Could he see them with that bandage?
Very difficult. But he's still, in fairness to Kieran McBride, he's trying very hard and winning a lot of ball in there. But Tyrone, with a lot of possession, aren't able to get much use from it.
So Adrian Kilpatrick continues to warm up on the far side for Tyrone. Meanwhile, it's the Tyrone backliner under pressure. Faye Devlin coming across the line. And was that out? Well, it's played on. And Brendan Riley has fisted it over the bar. But it's the Tyrone backs who are back there appealing to the umpires that the ball had surely gone wide. The umpires had a look at it and weren't interested. And you can see Finbar McConnell there appealing to the referee Mick Curley to go and check with the umpires. But the score stands. A third point for Brendan Riley. 1-9 to 10 points. Meath by 2. Pascal Canavan, huge leap in the air, trying to dispossess Jimmy McGuinness. Tyrone trying to come more and more into it around midfield. They were very much out of it for the opening 35 minutes. Jared Cavill kicking. Kieran McBride trying to take it down. It's followed the attention of Mark O'Reilly. A bit of a wild kick there by Stephen Lawn. Free out to Meath.
The longer the game is going on, the more the Meath defence is tying up the Tyrone forwards. And they lack a little bit of leadership up there at the moment.
Conor Martin taking the kick. Here's Fergal Logan. Dropped ahead, nice ball for Kieran McBride. Transferred beautifully to Brian Doer. Trying to go by Colm Coyle, losing the bandage, but he has possession inside. Oh, a great stop by Darren Fay. Just as Peter Canavan was about to profit, Darren Fay put out that right hand and averted almost a certain score. That was a terrific piece of fullback play by Darren Fay. Absolutely brilliant.
A fantastic interception. Brian Dooher burst right past Colm Coyle there after earlier getting by Paddy Reynolds, and Darren Fay didn't get a touch to that. It looked like it was going to be a goal for Tyrone.
Well, that's the bandage that went west. I think Brian Dooher has probably decided he can forget about it.
Colin Brady coming on there from midfield. Normally a midfielder from Meath coming on in place of Evan Kelly.
It's Adrian Cush who'll take this. Meath make their change. Wolves come back off the upright, back down towards Stephen Lawn, surrounded by Meath players trying to make headway, and it's a free out. Taken very speedily indeed. Fergal Logan clocked in the head there by Colin Brady, but he plays on. Peter Canavan, way out around the middle of the field, in towards his brother Pascal. This is won back by Martin O'Connell. Now John McDermott. Midway through this second half, Barry Callahan, great ball across towards Brendan Riley. It's a terrific match. A match which has had just about everything. Drops into the waiting arms of the goalkeeper Finbar McConnell. Not good play by Brendan Riley. A chance here for Tyrone to last a counter-attack. Chris Lawn. Again Fergal Logan here, trying to make headway. McCallum, this is the kind of contest he absolutely loves. Relishing every challenge. Just showing a little bit too much, but then going after it again with tenacity. Adrian Kilpatrick is in place of Kieran McBride. And the number 23 is in playing at top of the left. So change has been made by both teams. 54 minutes gone then. Jared Cavlin being told where to position this free kick. Again, the referee, Mick Curley's gone in. That's Colin Brady, who's come on just moments ago. And the referee, I think, has insisted that Brian Doer, once again, is reunited with his bandage. So a fresh one is being prepared. Again, there's a break in play. Jared Cavlin with 4 points so far. Well, they said we might see the best of him in this particular match. We're waiting to see a little bit more sparkle from Peter Canavan, but he definitely has an injury. Oh, I think we put the kibosh on Jared Cavlin by saying how well he was playing. So once again, Brian Doer is receiving the attention over there from the team doctor, Brendan MacDonald. So Meath leading by 2 points.
Yes, and it suits Meath. The whole play is becoming pushed back into their own half of the field, and when they're able to break out quickly, there's plenty of room up front. Tyrone with their short passing aren't able to break down the Meath defence, and if they don't change, it looks like Meath will be going on to the final.
A long way to go yet. Colin Coyle, 15 minutes remaining. Trevor Giles, Colin Brady now. Had two options, opted for Colin Coyle. Down along the line towards Barry Callahan. Tenacious play by Chris Lawn, fouled, free out. Meath don't like the decision. It's still a bit fierce at times here. Referee restoring order quickly. Injured player appears to be Paul Devlin from Ballinamona in Tyrone. Play will continue with a free kick to Tyrone, and once again they bring their goalkeeper out, Finbar McConnell, to hit this one. Tyrone, I know, hoping and praying for a goal from their marksman supreme from Peter Canavan. Doer's back in. Canavan got 1-7 against Fermanagh, 1-5 against Derry, and 1-1 against Down. Capable of taking this match by the scruff of the neck at any stage. That's Pascal Canavan. Fergal Logan comes back here towards Kilpatrick. Logan again. Knocked ahead towards Peter Canavan, but cut out. The supply has been cut out superbly. And Peter Canavan without the ball is ineffective. Instead, it's Graham Geraghty storming ahead and touching it over the bar. A lovely subtle touch after a powerful run, and a goal and 3 points now from Meath's number 12. And the fans now, I think, begin to believe it's possible. They may be here on All-Ireland final day. Besides a goal to the good after a wonderful one by the converted wing-back. Wing forward, or half forward, is new position. Knocked outside here towards Fergal Logan. Taken by Pascal Canavan. Tyrone needing scores. Peter Canavan being watched by Darren Fay. It's still Peter Canavan advancing. Peter Canavan, that was blocked superbly there by Martin O'Connell. Comes back out towards Colm Coyle. Two players on the ground having a little tussle while we watch play continue here. We'll follow the part of the game where the ball is. On towards Colin Brady. Brendan Riley fetches it. Riley with a nice little lob high and over the bar. Whoever put him in full forward. Wow, what a decision. He's got 4 points in this match. 4 shots, 4 points for Sean Boylan's men. They lead by 111 to 10 points.
Well, Meath with great space, Colin Brady there. Beautiful ball up to Brendan Riley. Every Meath player playing with plenty of confidence now. Great point off his left foot.
Brendan Riley then the latest scorer. And Tyrone in a real crisis situation here. Graham Geraghty trying to fetch. It's McCallum instead. The team that created their own page of history by retaining the Ulster title. So difficult to do that. Trying to make up for last year's lapse. Brian Duro, the player who is having words. And the referee pointing out just why he's made his decision. I think he got the decision his way, but the arguing and so on has resulted in the referee changing his decision. It's going to be a hot ball instead between the two number 9s. McDermott trying to claim it and going after that superbly. Trying to make headway. Across it comes towards McGuinness. Over towards Trevor. And Trevor Giles tries to get it on the left boot. And it's another one! A third point for Trevor Giles. First from play. Look at this happy man here from the Royal County. And that's the reason why. Smiles on all those faces. They're already looking forward to All-Ireland final day, but there's still 10 minutes to go.
Great
5 points the margin.
Great pass there by Jimmy McGuinness to Trevor Giles, and Meath have Tyrone totally rattled at the moment.
Graham Geraghty, what a match he's playing. Colin Brady. Always players available for it. Meath, of course, have a terrific record in the semi-finals. It's their 18th All-Ireland semi-final to date. They've won 13, lost only 4. They've never lost to Northern opposition. And this is Brendan Riley. And there's another one. This is a confident, almost arrogant spell by the Royal County, who are playing some terrific football. 5 points for Riley. It's looking like an emphatic win. It's also looking like acute disappointment for the men from Ulster, who are now 6 points adrift. Eugene McKenna then, who's had an anxious expression in his face for much of this game. How can they turn the tide? Not, you feel, without good possession in for Peter Canavan. Colm Coyle. That's broken down there well towards Barry Callahan. A good shot and a fine point. The Meath forwards have certainly delivered here at Cork Park in the semi-final. There were those who doubted their ability to take those chances. 114 to 10 points.
The last 10 minutes, Meath have played as good a football as ever been played by a county team in Cork Park.
McGuinness is in there with John McDermott. McDermott has it. Made good headway. Now he's got his free kick. Real disappointment for Art McRory. Dominic McCaughey there and Pat McCartan, other officials from Tyrone, of course. Colm Coyle in no particular hurry. Seen it all before. He's done it all before. Towards Graham Geraghty. Picked up instead by Fergal Logan. Down along the line towards Seamus McCallum. Is there a response now from the men of Ulster? Darren Fay. Nicely down towards Paddy Reynolds. The marking now from a Tyrone point of view is abysmal. Geraghty in towards Tommy Dowd. He took it down with great confidence onto Callahan. That should have been a point. Just under-hit it. I'm sure he didn't go for a goal. Tommy Dowd. Colin Brady calling for it. Punted ahead to him. Here's the substitute. Trying to put down a marker for a possible All-Ireland final place. Well, if indeed it is to be Meath versus Mayo, it will bring back memories to older fans of the period between 1948 and 52. They met many times then. Mayo beaten by Cavan by a point in 48. In 49, Meath beat Cavan. In 50, it was Mayo beating Louth. In 51, it was Mayo beating Meath. And then in 52, it was Cavan beating Meath. That was a glorious spell in the history of both those counties. Are they to meet in this year's final? It's looking like that. Graham Geraghty kicking, and Graham Geraghty ensuring, I think, at this stage that the Royal County will be back here again on the 3rd Sunday in September, and they're already wondering where they'll get those little pieces of paper that will ensure they have the tickets to get in here to see that final. It's 1-15 to 10 points, as emphatic a position as you could wish to see in an All-Ireland semi-final. This is the score again.
Well, Tyrone have had no answer to Graham Geraghty all day. He's had pace, power and shooting ability, and Tyrone are paying the price for not having anybody to stay with him in this game.
This is Pascal Canavan. Tyrone fans on their way out. When they look back, this is what they see. They're trying to build. They're looking for a goal. They need one badly. Adrian Kilpatrick, very high pass, which was difficult for Adrian Kosh to take. And just getting a little bit nasty now. Frustration from a Tyrone point of view. Referee seeking to restore order. I think that is Adrian Kosh there on the ground. He just fell very heavily indeed. And there's also a Meath player down in need of attention. They're pretty handy. The Meath player is Jimmy McGuinness from Dunsany. This is how Kosh got injured. This was the move.
Well, Adrian Kosh up for that ball, and Trevor Giles comes in under him, and a very, very heavy fall there for Adrian Kosh. A bit of ill temper creeping into it now. Frustration on Tyrone's part, but their tactics of short play around the middle of the field has played into Meath's hands, because Meath have been tackling in 2s and 3s and 4s and every Tyrone player in possession, and they haven't been able to get through the Meath backline at all.
Yes, it's been a tough, bruising battle. Colm Coyle, the latest one to be in need of the attention from Dr. Jack Finn. We caught a glimpse there of Jimmy McGuinness, 22-year-old from Dunsany. He's the first player from his club to play senior championship football for the county. And his National League medal in '94 was also a first for his club. So they're looking to see their man in the first ever All-Ireland final. Here he is, a big fellow, just 22 years of age, preparing on the sideline. They still have a few minutes in which to introduce a fresh man if they need to do so, but it's just a precaution. Play will continue with a throw ball. Adrian Kilpatrick and John McDermott, two very tall players. Tyrone need a goal quickly, otherwise the game is up. Colin Brady. Meath in a very comfortable situation. Brendan Riley. Paul Devlin. Now Seamus McCallan ploughing forward here. He'll go through the defence if needs be. There he is, on to Pascal Canavan. Support outside, Sean McLaughlin. Still support Adrian Kosh, blocked down there. It was Colm Coyle who got in the block. It's gone for a 45. We haven't had too many of them this afternoon. That indeed just the first. It's a glorious spell for a Meath follower looking on right now. His team ahead by, or her team ahead by 8 points. Comfortably ahead of that. It's been a terrific second half for them.
Yes, Meath have played absolutely fantastic football for the last 15 minutes. Tyrone had a good spell early in the second half when they should have been able to get level, but they've become increasingly frustrated and played into Meath hands with continually short passing the ball. Any team that does that against Meath are going to be hunted down. Meath have also made a very, very good substitution there. Colin Brady has come on and played his part as well. So there's been good moves all round.
Jared Cavlin kicking this one, dropping it into the rectangle. And held there by John McDermott, back helping out his defence. Tommy Dowd now. Well, the fist that met that one from the 45 could very well have ended up in the net. and caused a few tummies to float from a Meath perspective for the next couple of minutes. Instead, it's Jared Cablan dropping it in again towards Adrian Kilpatrick to turn around. Enda McManus held back, free in. They attempted to take the free quickly. Players have to be 13 metres back as the free is taken, and it is dropped over the bar, but the referee says, hang on, I didn't give the signal, we'll take it again. All of which is just serving to frustrate Tyrone even more. When you think how well they won the Ulster Championship, and you think how difficult it is to retain the title, how to do it on a third consecutive basis would be next to impossible, it seems. But that will be the tall order facing them for next year's championship as Jared Cablan kicks over his 5th point.
Well, Sean Boylan will have been always telling the Meath players to keep an eye on the clock behind the Canal goal. They'll have looked up at that and seen 5-5. They'll know there's 2 or 3 minutes left. They'll know also that unless Tyrone get a couple of goals, they have no chance of getting back into it, and everybody from Meath will be defending now.
They also note when the stewards come out, the Moir come out to ring around the ground, signalling there's about 5 minutes left. Well, that happened about 4 minutes ago, so almost into the last minute and a half there. Conor Martin kicks. Good challenge there. Fergal Logan tried with Jared Cablan, and he taking it. And the referee bringing the ball forward 13 metres because Colm Coyle didn't retreat fast enough. Cablan to hit it. Lobbed in again around the house. Fist rising up for once again. It's superbly taken by John McDermott. Out to Darren Fay. Well, full credit to the Meath management for putting together a new side this year. And putting this man to left half forward, Graham Geraghty, to round off the day perhaps. Barry Callahan, and that's it. Barry Callahan with a goal and 3 points. Selfless play by Graham Geraghty. Meath very much the victors, on their way to another All-Ireland final. The last was 91, disappointed then to be beaten by Down, but today they have been terrific and wonderful victors.
Well, the Rolls Royce sets off and nobody can catch him, and great ball to Barry Callahan, flicks it in with his left hand into the goal. Great day to be a Meath man in Cork Park.
You're starting to cry. This is RT, not RT na Meath. Free in. Each side has created 25 chances so far. Tyrone took 11, Meath 17.
Some of the Meath forward play though this second half has been absolutely fantastic. Dragged that Tyrone defence all over the place, and the lack of height and physique in their entire back line has really played into Meath's hands.
Just as we're saying this, Colm, I noticed that Graham Geraghty has been taken off just by way of giving a little bit of action to Jody Devine, but listen to the cheer for Graham Geraghty. A superb performance. A goal and 3 points. He created a lot more than that. And Jody Devine spent a night in hospital last Tuesday night, having been knocked out by a ball in a training session. So he's in there to sample the last minute or so. We're into injury time. It's Leinster versus Connaughton, this year's Bank of Ireland Football Championship final. Pascal Canavan knocking it on there. And again, Tyrone come forward with Sean McLaughlin. They keep it moving. It's Stephen Lawn. Next, Jared Cablan. And really quite academic at this stage. That'll just put a better final shape on the final score of this match. 6 points for Jared Cablan, and he's still going to finish on the beaten team.
Well, I suppose from a Tyrone point of view, you'd have to point out Peter Canavan wasn't at his best.
It's all over. Peter Canavan certainly was not at his best. Anne Burton with a smile on her face, the fans with cheers and whoops, the exchange of jerseys. For 75% of this match, it was a real seesaw battle, and then Meath pulled away. Colm called it kind of Rolls-Royce play. Let's hope he's not impaled on that as he comes down to celebrate with the other Meath fans on a day of great note for Meath football. They won a wonderful Leinster Championship, beating Dublin by 10 points to 8 in the Leinster final, reclaiming that cup, and now they have ensured that it will be Meath versus Mayo, an All-M, All-Ireland football final, the 3rd Sunday of September. But some wonderful play by Meath, by Graham Geraghty in particular, by McGuinness and by McDermott, and by a backline that was unyielding. And this is how it finished here. It makes wonderful reading from a Meath point of view. It's Meath, 2 goals and 15 points. Tyrone, 12 points.
Well, nobody doubted Meath's